If you're looking for a fun way to emphasize this idea of the Lord needing every part of the church. Remember in Paul's metaphor that the Savior quotes this week, he's essentially saying like every part of the body is needed. We need everyone to come together, which means we're going to have to compensate for people's weaknesses as they grow in strength. Or if we are the weaker link, we're going to need to trust in the mentorship and the help of those that God has paired us with so that we can increase in strength. His goal is that everyone gets stronger and that no one is left behind. And a really simple way to teach this is to do the sock shift challenge. So you may have seen this on Instagram or something before, but it's a really simple challenge. If you're going to try and do this in a church setting, I would use a really small amount of water, or maybe you would do it with something else that could spill. Like maybe you put some balloons in it or something that shows that when the bowl tips, there's an effect without making a mess. Or you take your kids out in the parking lot or the grass near your church and you do something fun. But the concept is simple. Every person who's playing has a pair of socks. We did it with a pair of socks on our feet because it was easy to go outside. But if that's not an option for you, you also could maybe put socks on hands, and maybe you have people hold the bowl with their hands, like instead of holding it this way where it'd be easy, you have them flip their hands over and hold it on the tops of their hands. I don't know, you could do a bunch of different variations. But the concept is simple. The goal of the whole group, it's not a competition against each other, it's a goal for the group to accomplish. So you're trying to get that bowl of water to stay stable, to keep the water in the bowl. And to do that, each person has to take a turn being the weak link. So as the turn goes around, one person has to take a sock off their hand or off their foot, and everybody else tries to stabilize the bowl. My favorite way to do this is with your feet, because the risk is a little higher in that if the bowl tips, it's going to fall on somebody, and the incentive to try and keep that bowl up is really high. But you can do it either way. One person will take off a sock, and then as soon as they have the sock off, they're going to put their foot right back up on the bowl. Then the next person goes, and the next person goes, and they get the feeling of being the weak link. And I would just let them play it for a few rounds and watch what happens. Naturally, when somebody has to pull their foot off the bowl, other people compensate. We shift our feet around. We might give verbal instructions. We might talk to the group as a whole and be like, okay, we gotta rally. It's getting close. We would find ways to compensate for weakness until that person can put their foot back up again. And you're going to do that cycling through both feet. So everybody takes off one sock on that first round, and then they take off the second sock on the second round. And if the bowl spills or topples over, then you start the process all over again. But you really want to talk about how that applies to us with discipleship. That in this church, there are lots of situations where you're going to be the strong link and lots of situations where you're going to be the weaker link. And all of us are going to experience that throughout our lifetimes. So our job as a church is to help compensate. When there is weakness or struggle, we lift the hands that hang down. We strengthen the feeble knees. When we are the weaker link for whatever reason that mortality has thrown at us, we accept the help of others. We accomplish the work that's in front of us, and we put our foot right back up there to help when the next person needs help. Both of those parts of discipleship are important. That's how we find unity. It's not by being so strong that we don't have weaknesses. It's that we understand that all of us have weaknesses, so we're all constantly trying to compensate and help and lift. And if we do that together, then we accomplish the goal. We don't get splashed, things go well. If we struggle in it, we learn by experience and get better over time. That's what the Lord was teaching these elders. He knows they have weaknesses. He knows some have strengths. So he's deliberately pairing them together so that they can lean on each other. And for me, that ties right into what the Savior does for us. When he invites us to yoke in with him, he is the strong link and we are the weaker one. But his goal is not to pull the burden for us, but to help us strengthen and lengthen our stride as we walk alongside him. Hopefully this object lesson helps you teach it.